One of my favorite pieces of the cleanse is the media fast. The media fast is an amazing opportunity to make some significant changes in your relationship with media. When I say media, I don't just mean the news. I also mean TV, what we listen to on the radio, what we're looking at on the internet, magazines, periodicals, advertising magazines, anything like that. Facebook would be included in the media fast. Um, some people do the media fast 100%. Some people understand the principle of the media fast and really minimize where they find it necessary and important. One of the principles with the media fast is that it decreases something called mental ama, or toxicity, and vata. Vata means neurological or nervous system imbalance and derangement even. It increases mental agni. What does that mean? That means that when we minimize the amount of unnecessary input into our mind, senses, and consciousness, it gives us a chance to digest what's been going on in our life more effectively. So it's decreasing the input so we can digest our life more effectively. Therefore, it increases sattva, or balance. That's what sattva is. It means balance or harmony. The media fast is a cleanse for the mind and the nervous system, and it increases mental freedom. So what do? Minimize radio, TV, newspapers, magazines, catalogs, web browsing, Facebook, social media, all of that stuff. You have to understand that all that input goes into our mind, goes into our senses, and just like we have to digest food, the senses, the mind, the intellect, we have to digest that input. After a while, that input we become numb to the input. That's why we can watch the news and horrific things on the news and feel nothing. If we do it enough, we become numb. So it's a really good idea to occasionally give ourselves a break. If something major happens, I promise you'll find out. The media fast also clears mental static. It decreases the intake and impact of negative impressions that we take into our consciousness. It interrupts negative conditioning, and it gives our neurotransmitters in our brain, which are the feel-good chemicals like serotonin and dopamine and GABA, an opportunity to regenerate themselves. Now, instead of listening to the radio with lots of commercials and lots of news, or instead of just sort of searching the webs or just constantly going to Facebook or putting up your pictures on Facebook or whatever it is you might do, it would be a great time during the cleanse to read inspirational books. And if you're going to watch anything, make sure it's inspirational or has something to do with personal development. This is really important during the cleanse specifically. So give yourself a break. Here's an example. I like NPR. Sometimes when I drive, I would tend to listen to it. But there's oftentimes a point where I find myself listening to something that I'm really not interested in, but I just keep listening. At that point, I consider that junk food. Eating something, even if you don't really want it, eating something that really has no nutritional value. Now, during the cleanse, I've done it in different ways. Sometimes I've completely eliminated it. But other times it might be I'll listen to something and be really clear that this is interesting to me. And then as soon as I start feeling that feeling of, I'm not interested, or even going a little bit numb, that's when I turn it off. The other thing when you're listening to the radio, make sure that when a commercial comes on to turn it off. Say you might even be listening to classical music or some nice peaceful music, which is fine during the cleanse. Turn off the advertisements. It's a really good idea to do that. So the media fast is an extremely powerful opportunity to rebalance your mind and ground yourself and let yourself be a little less connected to what's going on in the world in terms of news. you will find out if something really important happens, I promise, because someone's going to talk about it. You'll figure it out. You won't miss too much. But it's a very powerful thing for the nervous system, for the mind, for the senses, and it creates a new relationship with media and the internet, which is really important these days.